Do you want to run a game but you're unsure what the game master needs to do? Are you worried you can't do it right? Well, welcome back to Dice and Design. I'm Nathan Vale. This channel is about tabletop RPGs, storytelling, and running better games. So let's get into it. What does a game master do? See, a lot of people think that the game master is the opponent trying to defeat or to challenge the players at every turn. Others think the game master is the main character who controls the story and directs what happens. You're just going to end up following around your Jedi master. Some people believe the game master must know every rule, every outcome, and always have the right answer prepared. But these misunderstandings can create hesitation because a role appears more complex and adversarial than it actually is. The game master is responsible for presenting the world in which players act and make decisions. It includes describing the environment, controlling non-player characters, and establishing current situation. The game master has to understand, though, they don't control the players, but respond to the choices that the players make. It's a collaborative effort. The story you're telling is made up of all of you together. The role is not to tell the story to the players, but to create a space where the story emerges through interaction. The game master will provide structure, and the players provide direction. The game master presents a situation that requires decisions rather than predetermined outcomes. When the players act, the game master determines how the world responds based on logic, rules, context. All that's defined by the setting. It requires balancing consistency with flexibility so the world feels real but remains unresponsive. A good game master isn't going to have the story on rails to where you're boxed into an area. This is not a video game role-playing game, especially back to the old days where it was kind of very structured. This is more like open world stuff, right? The game master is responsible for maintaining the integrity of the world while allowing player agency. The game master is not responsible for winning the game or defeating the players, not responsible for forcing a specific story or outcome to occur, like a wedding that everybody has to attend, right? Game master is responsible for making every moment perfect, is not responsible for making every moment perfect or preventing failure. Game master is not required to know every rule in advance, but they should be willing to make rulings when needed, and they should be able to look into the material to be able to find the answers. Removing these expectations makes the role more accessible and reduces unnecessary pressure. Game master and players are not in opposition but are working together to create a shared experience, and the game master provides challenges and consequences while the players provide decision and direction. Trust is required so that players believe the world is fair and their choices matter. Their story should have their decisions should have a greater impact on the story. That we should be able to see how it changes in response to the actions that they take. And when the relationship is working correctly, outcomes feel earned rather than forced. When the players come up with a very unique way to solve a situation, but it's not what the game master originally planned, it should follow what they do and not the storyline that you have planned out. See, in closing, the game master is not controlling the story, but creating conditions for the story to exist. It doesn't need to be perfect to start, like this YouTube channel, but you do need to be willing to present situations and respond honestly. The role of game master is less about control and more about responsibility. The responsibility is to provide the framework for great stories to be told, for characters to be able to grow, and for players to see the impact of their actions. One of the biggest struggles about being a game master is keeping everything organized, allowing the players to be able to have their feedback. If you only play like once a week, once a month, it can be hard to remember what happened. One of the things I'm working on is a system called Imprimatur Engine, which will allow players and game masters to organize their material and be able to see it quickly on a timeline that shows what's transpired. If you're interested in looking into that, check the description below. Thank you and have a great day.